key, my friggin'. Oh, shoot. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy. Today I am here to do a book review for you guys. So I will be chatting about The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. If you are ready to hear all my thoughts and ideas about this book, then just keep watching. The Bear and the Nightingale is a book about a young girl named Vasilisa who grew up during the mid-14th century in northern Russia. She is the daughter of a lord of this particular region of Russia, and she grew up without a mother because her mother passed away shortly after giving birth to her. And this is about her story and her struggles with her stepmother specifically. When she is about 14 years old, not 14 years old, about 6 years old, her father remarries a woman who does not believe in worshiping or acknowledging traditional Russian folklore household creatures type things. We're just going to call them creatures, mythical creatures from here on out. And in doing so, about the time that Vasilisa is 14, there starts to be some really bad things happening. And Vasilisa truly believes that this is because they are no longer paying respects to these household creatures and these household spirits. And that's largely what this book is about. And for the sake of not spoiling anything and not saying anything beyond what's going on the back of this book, I'm going to leave it at that. And if you want to chat more or want to know a little bit more, just ask me in the comments and I will gladly give you more information. But I don't want to spoil this book for anybody because I really, really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I was so very impressed with how Katherine Arden built the tension throughout this book. This book is a slow burn. If you are looking for a fast-paced, intense, I'm not going to say intense, fast-paced, quick, action-packed book, this is not the book for you. This book happens very slowly, but the way in which Katherine Arden ratchets up the tension is impeccably done. The fact that she can grab you in with just this little bit of information at a time is truly phenomenal. She has a gift. I'm just so impressed by the control she had over her storyline. And there's a lot of build up to where you get to the point that things are starting to happen. So for me, a lot of times in books when there's this huge build up, I get disappointed because I'm like, okay, can we get to the point of this book? But in this, it was perfect. I enjoyed it so much. And like I said, Arden did it perfectly. As far as the themes of this book, I was so very impressed by the things that were discussed in this book or were just central ideas to this book. Themes like religion, specifically organized religion versus tradition, and myth versus reality, and all of these things play together to create this really fascinating plot line that carried you throughout this book. There's political intrigue and political moves because her father, Pyotr, I'm probably butchering the Russian pronunciation of Peter, but I'm gonna just go with Pyotr. He is a lord, so at one point when he does go find her stepmother to marry and find a woman to marry, he goes to Russia. So he interacts with the Tsar and the other princes in the area. And this political intrigue I wasn't anticipating, but it added such an intensity to this book that was so very good. And the role that religion played in this was amazing. The commentary that Katherine had on organized religion and the use of fear to induce people to practice religion and essentially follow these religious rules was really, really good. And this was largely done by what I would consider is the villain of this book, or the antagonist to Vasilisa, that was really good. For once, I've read a book this year where the villain was just amazing, and he just added this layer to Vasilisa that I think was the most important layer to Vasilisa, because largely throughout this book, Vasilisa is very one facet. She is who she is. She doesn't question what she has happened to her or the things that she's experiencing. At no point does she question anything about herself, and in doing so there's not a ton of character development, but this interplay with her family members and then this antagonist is just, it makes Vasilisa's character interesting. Without it, I don't think I would have enjoyed her character. And overall, my favorite character, the character that I found to be the most interesting and well-rounded and just a wonderfully done character, is her father, Piotr, because he's dealing with these conflicting ideas within him to protect Vasilisa and protect his community, but also be respectful to the new ways of the world, is really, really interesting. And how he approaches his children and thinks about his children and his second marriage and his first marriage, it's all just really wonderfully done. And that character was truly, truly amazing. I enjoyed his character so very much. Every scene with him, I was like, yes, it's a character that you can sink your teeth into and really enjoy and understand the angst and the troubles and his thought processes and why he is deciding the things that he's deciding to do. So in that fact, this combination of all these really good characters made this really great character in Piotr. And the interplay of characters is what made the characters good, because there's a large cast in this book, but she handles it really well. And you don't ever get confused with who's who, and you follow everyone's stories, because there's a lot that happens in a fairly short book. And I said it, I'm gonna say it again, she just handles it well. This book is good. Although I will say, as much as I loved this story, there were a few things that I did find predictable about this story. Nothing major, and I wasn't terribly disappointed to figure it out, but it was predictable in a few points. And as much as I did enjoy her writing wasn't anything phenomenal. This is not a literary book, in my opinion. She touches on some really great big topics and makes you question certain things, but this story is about enjoying and celebrating Russian folklore and what it meant for these people, and the interplay and the magic and the fantasy that is in this book is a lot of fun. I had a ton of fun reading this book. There you have it, everyone. There are most of my thoughts on this book. Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I have every intention of picking up the sequel, which I think is The Girl in the Tower, which is coming out in either December or January. When I picked this up, was not aware that it's meant to be a part of a trilogy, so like I said, the second book is coming out, and I'm excited to read it, and it was a lot of fun. This book just grabbed me and immersed me in this really gorgeous world, this wintry world of Russia, northern Russia, where there's snow and ice, and winters are so very different than summers. And there's so much more that I could have talked about in this book, but for the sake of not making this video crazy long, I'm going to leave it at that. But if you are looking for a good, cozy book to read this fall and this coming winter, I absolutely recommend picking this up. I think it's perfect for that time of the year, especially if you live in a place where it gets snowy and you can cozy up and all of that. You will absolutely feel all the wonderful atmospheric vibes that I got from this book. So if you guys liked this book, yeah, if you like this book, let's chat about it. If you have read it, let's chat about it. Or if you didn't like it, let's chat about why you didn't like it. Or if you plan on reading it, let's just chat. I'm here for the chats all around. But if you like this video, please like it. And if you loved it, please subscribe. And we will see you in my next video. Happy reading. This, bless you. Come look at him. He's so cute. Grown up in the mid 13th century, it's the 14th century. Worship these household creatures. I cannot describe this book right now. What?